beat.
I thought it was good.
Right.
Like, look, I've engaged and always involved myself in those situations, and I think it always made bigger excitement in my culture. Like that type of thing would make a person buy the record twice.
Right.
It would make like
so you know how to use it.
Yeah. Like that, even though me and Kanye, like we have issues, but we stand there like we were in a fight.
Yeah.
The picture. You know what
I mean? And that was the week, the first sales week.
Yeah.
And both of y'all sold.
Yes.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're going, I could have went on tour with him if I wanted to come back.
Right.
Because I had so many records that were hit records at that point that I would have smacked. He only had that album.
Right. What do you think this is with Drake and Kendrick?
I think this is a point where you win repeatedly to the audience, and even the artist community is going, if you win again, I don't have much to win. So they would rather see Kendrick in that slot.
Right.
Drake, you forgot.
Damn.
That's really the way it goes. Like, if you look, what he's saying, the system's done, they're done. They're guilty of what he said they did. But while I'm at Interscope, they are G-Unit and G-Not at the same time.
Right. Gotcha. Wow.
On the same system. The same person delivering the record telling you to play 50 Cent is delivering the record saying play game.
Wow.
And it's just this. They're looking at it like this business is selling the record. Everything that they said that he did, that they did for Kendrick, is something they did for him.
What did you say to Drake, if you don't mind my asking? Because you guys were somewhere, and it looked like y'all were having a conversation.
Yeah. They said you lost because you did. So what did you look? And he said nothing. So I don't understand.
Right.
You should understand, like, whenever you say you lost something, you say, what exactly did you lose? When you take a step back, there's nothing lost. There's nobody who's Drake fan that won't go out to see his show right now.
Man, we say that all the time.
Yeah. So it's just to be active. Get out there, do your thing.
How do you feel about beef in general?
I like it.
Yeah, I know.
We can tell. No, I'm saying I grew up under circumstances where it is not optional. It's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? And then you go on. Look, battling has always been a part of hip hop culture. If you're not competing, look, that is we hit a spot where business is so present that he looked at it and said, "Well, that's defamation of character. That's not true." It's a false statement. All right, and I'm like, remember these false statements were in battle record?
Yeah. What did you feel about the lawsuit when you heard the lawsuit being announced?
I thought it was to combat
the Super Bowl.
Yeah, because that would reignite it. It will make it. The song would make it exciting.
And months down the line too.
But the suit itself, I don't think you think about it. But when the lawsuit comes out, it ignites the record. It goes out.
Right.
I didn't realize that his albums.
Right.
His albums came right when that lawsuit fell. It was like,
yeah, there we go.
Spiked up anyway. So.
Is it different when we look at hip hop? As
the world of hip hop is no stranger to controversy, but recent events involving Jay-Z and Diddy Combs have taken the drama to an entirely new level. Whispers of allegations and leaked information have set the internet ablaze, with a prison call between the two icons at the center of the storm. The stakes are high, and reputation, careers, and even freedom hang in the balance. Let's unravel this gripping tale, where loyalty, survival, and betrayal collide.
Competitive, if there's a lawsuit there, from a beef, you know what I'm saying? Like, because you beef with Fat Joe, Ja Rule, Buster. Have you ever got a lawsuit?
No, other than that, you always did other stuff, behind the scenes stuff. You know what I mean? Like, but they're not public lawsuits and things like that. Like they were saying, for me, mine was so street oriented, but you're a rat.
Right, yeah.
Weird. That's the definition right there. But then the judge that you would be in front of would look and say, so you're like those criminals that have away. Because you feel offended by someone calling you a rat. The traditional person, they're not in that lifestyle. Rat means yes.
Right.
911, their defense to you hit them over there, you know. Come get the shit. Come get them. Yeah. Don't act like you didn't do it.
Right.
Like that is no ratting for them. They're like, but you better behave yourself.
Can you understand from a business part in the bigger scheme what this lawsuit is from Drake?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then this because it does feel like like when you're in negotiations, it'll feel like the value not as hot as it was last week when everybody was excited. They said it feels good. Like, like they said you go off. Like you get a phone call, even like, yo, you guys created the largest sales week in hip hop. And I'm like, yeah, but I lost.
Right.
Get off the phone.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I get this call from Steve Berman, they might need to go down. But they like, at that point.
And this is when you and Kanye were going?
Yeah. You gotta get the call. You go, what did you thank you for?
Because when you look at it with the sales with you and Kanye, like y'all went on this whole who's gonna sell, and that first week Kanye did sell more.
Yeah.
But looking at the numbers, y'all won.
Yeah,
but you were like, nah.
From a consistent sales system, I have the sales system. This dope didn't do everything that Jam done for Kanye's number to come back. They assumed because they didn't do everything to protect Drake. Because they assume Kendrick and this will be just like anything else that happened. Do you understand? Like they did everything he's saying they did in that lawsuit, they did.
So you feel like it's valid from that point? Like, yeah, they did.
I understand why you would do that if he was talking to a lawyer, but like in hip hop, right? They just know there's nothing to sue for. There's nothing that is sue for.
Is anything off boundaries when it comes to
No,
nothing's out of bounds.
No.
What about going to their home city and putting on a full concert? Like Kendrick's going to Toronto for 2 nights.
Imagine being Jay-Z, one of the most powerful figures in music and business, a billionaire, a husband to Beyoncé, and a father of 3. Then suddenly your name is dragged into one of the most serious accusations imaginable. A lawsuit alleges involvement in a heinous crime, with Diddy also named. This isn't just a tabloid story, it's a potential life-altering situation, and if the leaked call is anything to go by, Jay-Z's approach to this crisis is anything but conventional.
Let's move on to Jay-Z and Diddy. Now, we knew that Diddy was facing all sorts of criminal charges and tons of civil suits, and my God, I can't even keep track of the number of things that have been alleged against Sean Combs or P. Diddy. But here he is in this picture with Jay-Z, who is also known as Beyonce's husband, and now Jay-Z's been dragged into one civil suit by one of the Diddy accusers. And this now 30-something-year-old woman, I think she's 37 now, who claims that she was 13 years old at the time this happened to her, has filed a lawsuit through this lawyer who's suing P. Diddy in many cases. Like, this guy's going to build a summer home based on what he hopes to recover
or
from his lawsuits.
Or 3.
Yeah, 3. So he says that he's got this woman who, when she was 13 years old, she went to the VMA Awards in New York City by herself, looking to get in and meet celebrities. Not surprisingly, she says she couldn't get in. She says she decided to chat up the limo drivers waiting for the celebs outside, and that one of them said to her something to the effect of, "You look like Diddy's type." And that then she was brought back to Diddy's house after the VMA Awards at Rock Center in Manhattan in the year 2000. And that there she was raped. She was given something that made her feel drugged, a drink. She was raped not only by Diddy, but also by Jay-Z. And that when Diddy then tried to come for her again that evening, she grabbed her clothes and ran out. And that her father picked her up at a gas station nearby the home. The father, and I presume she, lived 5 hours away in Rochester, New York. Now, unfortunately for this woman and her lawyer, this guy Busby, some inconsistencies have surfaced in the account. Most notably, the father comes out and says, "That never happened. I never went and picked her up. at any post Diddy party. I think I remember that. I live 5 hours away, and that would seem to be a near insurmountable problem for Mr. Busby in this lawsuit, Mark. But you tell me.
Well, that's when you say inconsistencies, that's about as charitable as you can get. And by the way, I'm going to ask Alex Spiro next time he calls him a Busby, the 1-800 lawyer. I call him the 1-800 Diddy lawyer. I mean, he's out there with billboards, he's filing things anonymously, and then it turns out when Alex was doing his press conference yesterday that not only was the description of the house impossible, 20 minutes outside of Manhattan, but virtually everything else about this story was impossible, not to mention, as you said, the father. But this is not the first time that one of these things as to Diddy has fallen apart. I mean, Gloria Allred brought a case that ended up falling apart.
The leaked prison call reportedly reveals Jay-Z's cold and calculated strategy to distance himself from Diddy. Gone are the days of camaraderie and collaboration. Jay-Z appears to be prioritizing self-preservation. Above all else, according to sources close to the situation, he's ready to throw Diddy under the bus if it means protecting himself and his family.
I actually followed on one of the TV shows a lawyer who brought 3 cases against Diddy, and he said that 60 people had come to his office talking about Diddy, but the 57 of them were so ridiculous that he didn't take them. Well, that tells you 95% of the people making the claims don't even pass the smell test for a lawyer, yet he's going to take 3 or vice versa. I mean, this is really, at the end of the day, if you look at the Diddy case, and, you know, there's almost a service that has been done by them expanding it to Jay-Z. Everybody says there's all these celebrities involved. Well, so far, everybody says any minute the tape's going to drop, the tapes are being shot, blah, blah, blah. The problem is that was in September. And now we're in December. Not one tape has been released that I have seen. No, not one other person who is an alleged victim has been identified. It's still a one accuser case that's being brought criminally. I think that a lot of this is totally overblown, and there isn't any indication. Everybody keeps talking about the Diddy parties. Where are the tapes of the Diddy parties where this is supposedly going on? Nobody's ever seen it. It's become like the Loch Ness Monster.
And also, but Meg, let's talk about something historical that took place this week. And it's this case that you and I don't know how many stories we did on the original Kendall's court / Kelly's court. The young woman who, when she was young then, accused the Duke lacrosse players of raping
Crystal Mangum
has now come out and said, yeah, I made the whole thing up, which is horrible, as what she did was horrible. She's actually just committed like a little bit of a public service to show, like, people do make these things up. Everyone's like, oh, make this up. I don't know. Who would just create such a story? Never happened. Yeah, actually does happen. Did happen. Those 4 kids' lives were ruined. Their families ruined, financially wiped out. A DA was brought to his knees out there. It was just, a despicable situation that happened. And now, I don't even know, almost 20 years later, she admits, yeah, I made the whole thing up. And this girl with the Jay-Z thing, I mean, her own father, yeah, I think I would remember if I drove 5 hours to pick up my daughter from a nightclub. But for Jay-Z, I agree with Mark that he did perform somewhat of a public service when his name came out and he fought. He said, look, I feel bad for my kids. I feel bad they're going to have to hear about this, but I am not going to be extorted. I'm not giving a penny. I know I didn't do that. And I'll tell you, Mark and I have represented these kinds of people. It is often a lot easier for them to fill out a 3-page document, a non-disclosure agreement, write out a check for an amount of money that's not going to change their quality of life. Just make it go away. He probably could have done that here, but he didn't, and good for him.
Yeah, no, Jay-Z is denying it in the strongest terms, and he's responding to this. On
the surface, this might seem shocking. Jay-Z and Diddy have long been seen as pillars of the hip-hop community. They've shared stages, business ventures, and even moments of personal connection. But when survival instincts kick in, friendship can become a distant memory. The leaked conversation reportedly captures Jay-Z's determination to clear his name no matter the cost.
Two.
Well, I didn't reach out to my mother. She actually wrote the letter. She reached out to Jay-Z and his team. She sent, and my godmother helped. They sent him a letter basically saying we can talk privately and have a private conversation and basically have a sit down.
And did they agree to that?
No.
Did you get any response?
Yeah, we got a response, but it wasn't about no sit down. It was just basically asking questions, stating like who your mom was in the car with and things of that sort. Do she remember what type of car it was and like stuff like that. Who's the person?
So when you got a response like that, did you feel disheartened, or did you think they're probably just doing the job? This kind of thing probably you get a lot of weird people contacting them.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. Honestly, I had mixed feelings, but I feel like they were trying to block the truth. I wouldn't say block the truth, but they wasn't trying to never solve the problem. It was never trying to get. My whole thing was getting a problem solved. I didn't ever want to see nobody, throwing shots at another person for something that we could have got taken care of properly. I'm not that type of person. And people could think what they want, but I never wanted this to, harm anyone. We really could have got this done, and he knows this the truth. The team knows this. That we sent letters. We've been fighting for years and years, and someone should know that we're not fighting them fraud. Like they've been using things in these courtrooms to drag it out and creating narratives that don't exist. And this could have been over with. That's all I'm saying is that when you treat people like that and you expect someone to just sit there and take it, you get what you get.
Yeah, it's got to be really frustrating. All right, so let's just go slowly over the years. What happened with the legal situation? You're 16, you reach out, they send this, response asking all these questions, trying to basically shut you guys down. What happened next after that in terms of communication?
Well, it was very lacking communication. We were basically talking, I guess, to his team. It was never directly to him, so it was always someone from his team or representing him. And after that, it was really just all court action. Let's just go to court, go in different states to go to court. Things is just dragging it out. They trying to dismiss cases and we making us file again about the same thing. It was just all craziness that could have really been taken care of. Our legal system is, and I'm not talking about our whole legal system. Don't get me wrong. There's some great people in our legal system, but the ones that's not doing their job, like you guys really need to check and get these people out of there because it's so much.
It's important to understand the context. Both men are facing allegations that could not only destroy their legacies, but also land them behind bars. The lawsuit, filed by a woman identified as Jane Doe, accuses them of unspeakable acts at a party years ago. The allegations are horrifying, and the legal battle is fierce. Diddy has been embroiled in other legal troubles recently, adding to the pressure. Jay-Z, on the other hand, seems to be leveraging every possible advantage to protect himself.